Hey folks, we're back again. Got Keith with me this time because we are here to talk all things gathering. And maybe some other stuff as well. We shall see. We shall see how long this goes and where we end up.
Bound to be other stuff.
There's bound to be other stuff. That's tangents on tangents. So, in case you haven't seen the previous video that we did talking about the gathering and what our plans were with it, our whole idea with gathering this year was it would be a much smaller event. It would be strictly limited in numbers. We wouldn't have any nervous breakdown on the run up to the event, which was our main aim, and it would probably keep its nose clean if we could get those numbers sorted. To which end we ended up limiting camping, limiting day attendance. Price went up a little bit because we worked backwards from our limits to get our ticket pricing, and then we went for it, and we would see what would happen. And it's now happened. So we are back here to talk about our highlights and what we enjoyed and what didn't work out so well, and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna pick immediately on Keith and say, what was if you have a single highlight of the event in all of it, what is your single highlight?
So I'm going to take a moment just because I took a moment to reflect whilst you were saying that and thought that because of the way we structured it, exactly as you said, and we kind of, we started at the end point knowing what our attendance kind of could be at Prescott and kind of worked backwards to come up with ticket prices and what have you. And it was almost like a bit of a stab in the dark. So I guess this is a nice platform to be able to thank everyone who came along and actually supported us and made the event what it was, because they don't happen without those people. And so forever grateful for those who put their hands in the pockets and buy tickets and come along to, what we do. So, yeah, and take that moment to say thanks before we get into it.
Oh, nice. See, Keith is the nicer one of us.
Yeah. Sure. I'm glad someone has that viewpoint. My highlights. Do you know what? I've got a bit of a soft spot for Prescott, and my highlight was, it's a bit broad, but just to be back at that venue. I suspect that many people that came along to gathering this year wouldn't have been there. 2013, so 12 years ago, the last time we were there. And it always, at that time, we did a 3-year run then, and it kind of felt like a nice home for it. After 3 years, I felt like gathering had found its home in 2013. And so for me, it was lovely to be back. I loved the venue, the orchard, the way the hillclimb kind of meanders up the hill, and the local people in those areas, from the post shop to kind of the local pubs and that. People there are nice, and it's a nice place to be. And that was a definite highlight for me.
Oh, that's very nice. That's lovely.
Hopefully
Yeah.
you've got something a bit more specific and less broad.
Yeah, I guess so. Weirdly, my highlight is Matt winning an award for his rover. And not because Matt won an award, and there's an amusing video of him giving a thumbs up in a charcoal manner, but it was around just the community aspect of Retro Rides was very evident at Gathering in a way that it's hard for it to be at something as large as Weekender, and it wasn't lost at Gathering previously, but it was nice that we kind of managed to refocus an event, do a small event that was much more, that felt like a community event again. I mean, the campsite people, as we'll probably come on to, the campsite sold out to pretty much entirely Club Retro Rides people, and those Club Retro Rides people are people that are slightly more engaged with the community than everyone else, and that's fine. It doesn't make them better people, but it's lovely that campsite was like that. But that carried through the event. It felt like a very nice group of people to have in one place together doing car stuff. And then that car in and of itself is a great reflection of that. It's kind of, and it is also an interesting reflection of how things have moved on, in that it's kind of an old school Retro Rides build, in that it was built in the run up to the event for the event. The car was bought off the forum. Two friends that have been friends that have met via the forum built it together, bought it together, and it looked great. But also, it was really well done. Like from a finished point of view, like it was put together quickly. But Matt and Mark know what they're doing. Like they can build proper cars. I mean, Matt works on some fairly serious engines for his actual job. And whilst there are springs being removed from cars in campsites, which is very, very old school retro rides, these people know what they're doing most of the time, and that car kind of reflected that sort of evolution, I think, of where we've come, but also was a total link back to how the shows were and the community is. So I absolutely loved that.
There were definite comments about that afterwards, a few things along the lines of, it felt like how, gathering used to be, kind of thing. Which I'm aware, when you and I spoke before we started this, we kind of said we were going to cover off what we wanted gathering to be before we went into it. And we might have flown past that.
Maybe for me, I didn't know what it was going to end up like. I think perhaps that's. I knew it had to be smaller, and it would have a different atmosphere, but I wasn't sure what that would be like nowadays because the events have become quite big, and there were people that were annoyed and disappointed not to get tickets, certainly camping tickets, and I get that. I get that frustration. That's a legit frustration, but at the same time, I think the event being smaller gave it a whole atmosphere that it hasn't had for a long time. And it's a different atmosphere, not a better or a worse atmosphere. It's just a different one. And I liked that because it made it an alternative event to Weekender. So just so people are aware, organising Weekender. In fact, we were literally just having a conversation before this about how stressful organising Weekender is. And organising Quick 60 is, and previously organising Gathering is, and part of the idea of doing a smaller event was that we didn't want to have a stressful event. Now we ended up having a stressful event, which we will come on to, but the actual event itself was lovely. Like the way the orchard was laid out. Like big up to Simon and Andy for doing that, and Jake. Sorry. It just felt right, and I think that was probably like a subconscious aim was to have that smaller, tighter feel to it, and we got there.
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of almost, I don't know, like a snapshot of the gathering in one picture. Was kind of that orchard, that very relaxed, laid back, very ad hoc, and not that kind of cold, structured, kind of mapped out layout, and it's kind of how gathering wanted to be and feel this year, from the campsite all the way through with everything that we were doing. I think just a bit more relaxed and a
bit more low key.
Fly by the seat of your pants.
a little bit. So we tackled a couple of highlights. Let's tackle a bit of a bad thing. Why we ended up with actual stress. So that from my point of view, there's an unknown going into it in terms of the orchard, and it's something we will improve next time. I didn't know how many cars were going to turn up because we don't pre-book our cars. The whole point is that they arrive, we put them in place, and then we get a nice mix of cars. I think pre-booking stuff is kind of it gatekeeps it a little bit, and even though theoretically people will, because we're not like approving them, like people will fill out a form and get their car in. I think it does put some people off, and they're often some of the people with the more interesting cars. So and
it still doesn't give you accurate numbers.
No, it doesn't, because like some people
you know that 100% of those people won't turn up, and so you still need an overflow plan.
Yeah,
regardless.
So we didn't really know how that was going to work, and also because we were doing the completely ad hoc parking, just making it up as we go along. We we didn't know how that would work and how busy it would get, and I think that was a big stress for me going in. And then on the day, I suspect we stopped parking in there probably just a little too early, but because of the way we built the field, so it kind of gradually filled from the back to the front, there were actually more spaces beyond the back of the field that maybe we could have used, that we didn't know about really until it was full, and we'd start parking elsewhere, and then you go back into that field and like, we could have like fit another 20, 30 cars here, which probably would have taken the weight out of the other side. But yeah, that was a big stress running in, was like not knowing how that layout was going to work. But the majority of it was spectacularly good. Like wandering around that while we were doing the judging was really nice. It felt really nice.
I got to wander around, which was definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
Like it's very rare that I'm wandering around our events at all. So to be able to do that was certainly a treat. It really was.
Yeah, it was a good thing. Give us a bad, Keith.
Yeah, I was just thinking on top of what you just said. I think a lot of the things that you look at negatively, or things to improve, all that kind of stuff, stem from effectively year one at a venue. You go into it. Not quite sure how they're going to work, not quite sure kind of the problems that you're going to need to solve when you arrive. And there's certainly some things that we can tweak and improve on going forward. I think one of the things that annoyed me the most when I look back is kind of like we had a few catering options that were split up, some provided by them, some provided by us. And obviously there's the clubhouse on site. And obviously we've done a feedback form afterwards, and it would appear that some people didn't know where all the catering options were, and potentially we were a bit light on catering. And, we always kind of pride ourselves on the food that we put on and the catering areas. And I felt like that could have, you look at what was there and that could probably have been a bit better. So yeah, that's pretty high on my list for next year, to have that kind of catering experience. Leveled up.
Good. We did, actually, that's a good point. We did a feedback form, so if that went out to all ticket holders, because our experience, certainly of that event, more so than Weekender, but our experience of event is not always necessarily going to be other people's experience of an event, and we were very curious as to what people thought of the event. Certainly the biggest problem, worry, concern, whatever I had going into that event was the cost of the ticket. So I am always worried about the price of entry to events, and people are like, don't worry about it, it's fine, but actually I'm and that's the punters, not so much within our team, but I'm always wanting to give value for money, and I don't, if you're spending your money with us, then I don't want you to feel like you've spent more than you've got back, if you see what I mean. I've been to those events, I spent my £70 for a ticket to a car event and been there for an hour and a half and left because it's not very good. Like, and equally, I've gone to a local free car meet and it's been great. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest concerns I had. So we got the feedback form, and I think the majority of people felt like that they'd got their value for money. However, I still think it's an expensive ticket for a car show. So we will be reviewing
it became one of those. Sorry, it became one of those things that actually caused us some of the most stress. When you look back at it, it was like, it might be a little on the strong side. What can we do? And it's like, let's do like the giveaway packs and things like that. And it's like, what else can we build into that, to what we're going to deliver, to make a £35 ticket kind of, feel value for money? And then so you're then stressing about the fact that you feel like you've got to do more almost. That definitely definitely contributed to
absolutely
final stresses.
So one of the biggest things in the run up, and this is one of those odd things that no one outside of the event knows is happening, which is the event that didn't happen. So every single event we've ever done, there has been something that has been brewing in the background before the event that hasn't happened, which would have made the event even better, would have been spectacular in some manner. And then because it hasn't happened, and it's usually like a guest or something that I'm organising, I'm then disappointed by the event because the thing didn't happen. But no one else ever knew that was going to be a thing. So, because like, nothing gets announced. But with this, actually, it was more problematic. So we've yet to debrief with Prescott, but we had a miscommunication around how the track potentially could work. So we knew everything had to be road registered for our people that were going on the track, for like the people we had attending. But there was a slim possibility, or there was a possibility that we would be able to get potentially X amount of cars that were not road registered up by agreement with Motorsport UK, and it had to be a bit back and forth. I sent some lists to Prescott of the cars that were currently like possible or likely, and then they went to Motorsport UK to find out. So we were just operating on that basis. Motorsport UK are quite slow sometimes, so there was radio silence for a long time. Expected that. Went up to do actually when we went to do the photographs, which was about a month and a bit before the show, and I'd been sort of working on the basis of, well, we haven't had a no, so things are fine, and they hadn't had anything back from Motorsport UK. They then pushed Motorsport UK. Motorsport UK didn't say yes to any of them. They said no to all of it, and actually it felt like the rules got slightly tightened at that point, which was a bit of a problem for me because there were some impressive cars in that list, and also I then had a month to pull together a guest car selection for an event that was £35. So there was stuff in that list that was coming from Europe. There was some very, very special cars. So I then had this pressure in two directions. One, I was like, oh, I need to make this a £35 event guest display of whatever description, and I also need to find some cars that are road legal that can do that. Interestingly, there was a number of cars that were on our original guest list that fulfilled that. So I wasn't starting from zero, and then I had a couple of cars come through actually on application for the general hillclimb towards the end of that were guestable, like they were, spectacularly guestable. So like, okay, we can augment it with that. So then I've got like this middle bit of like two or three cars that I needed to go out and find. I went and found them, put them together. We'll come on to one of those in a minute, and then that display was great. Like, actually, when I put it all together and I put it up on the website and I was looking at it, I was like, this is cool. We added some static display stuff, which didn't work out quite as well as I'd hoped, in terms of where I placed them and stuff, so that's a bit of a lesson learned. But we got the guests there and we made it work. But that was a massive stress beforehand, and it wasn't the level of spectacular that I was going for. As I say, there's still a chance that some of those cars might come back in the future, so we'll see. Yeah. I doubt it, but like, I'm sort of not going to say what they would have been, but we had some. Yeah. But the thing is, I'm disappointed. No one else knew. Like, I hadn't even told Keith what those cars were. Like, no one knew what those cars were. So it's just me that gets a little bit disappointed by that. But
we still end up with a guest car list, which is impressive.
Yeah.
I guess that's the point, isn't it? You just you still end up in a place that's got a strong lineup.
Yeah, I think so. And actually, in some ways, it made me hunt further afield as well. It made me go out sort of seeking some more contacts, and it made it a little bit more, I guess, challenging but not in a fun way. But it made it more challenging, which made me stretch my legs a little bit. So that was quite good. So one of the cars was the orange Capri, which people may notice wasn't there. So on the run up to the event, the tightness of the rules became apparent, but only on the week before, which was slightly upsetting. And and that's across the board. So a lot of people that went on track will have had mails about getting MOTs and taxes and all of that kind of stuff. And as I say, we haven't had our debrief with Prescott yet, but I feel like we can handle that. Now we know about it, as tight as they are, we can handle that better in the future. But one of the cars only had slicks, and we weren't allowed to run it, and that was the Capri. So he has gone and got him. He was really, really keen to run, so he has gone and got himself some treaded tyres, so he can come back next year. So he's very, very keen to come back. He's a great guy.
That's awesome.
He may also come to Goodwood, I suspect. So it may get a chance to see that on track and on the hill. But yeah, I think that was the biggest thing I had this year, was that turnaround from, oh, these might be a thing, to, oh, these are definitely not a thing. But that being quite close to the event.
Yeah,
but we'll know that for the future. We can plan for that for the future.
Yeah, and it'll make Ian's life a lot easier. As you know, all those who were on track will no doubt have had contact with Ian. And I think for the probably 36 hours leading up to that Sunday, like, he was solidly phoning and emailing people. So everyone will have heard from him, I'm sure.
yeah, everybody on track will have had that. So the other thing that happened was there was no. So the permit is the thing that stops us running non-road legal cars. That comes from Motorsport UK, and there was no provision in the permit for commercials, which meant that all of the vans, pickups, etc. could not run, even though we were under the impression they could. Again, that is a thing we can solve for next year. Let's put it that way. Let's keep it on that positive note. We will solve that for the future. It is solvable. It's just a bit more paperwork potentially. We were very disappointed.
Relying on a debrief with them, and
we were very disappointed not to be running the caddy, and also like Wacky Mick was there with his van, and Daz was there with his new Escort van, and they just couldn't run, and it's really disappointing. But we will make sure that happens next year. I was actually thinking already that maybe the guest car lineup next year is 5 commercials, various sorts.
Solely.
We'll get there with that. Right, go on, give us another good thing, Keith. Something you enjoyed about it?
Other than me just being there. As I said, I touched on it earlier, but to actually get the chance to walk around it this year was a real treat. It was nice to actually see what comes in, more than just what drives past you at the gate. To actually walk around and kind of take it in. And obviously we were together walking around in the orchard, but I actually got to, actually go around the paddock, take a few moments to kind of take it in and wander up and around, and actually see everything, and actually even kind of talk to traders and, even kind of friends who are attending, which is a real rarity. From our internal point, Gillian got to have a passenger ride with Louis, as did Ian actually, and for there to be the time to enable them to kind of come out of sign on or away from kind of the paddock and actually get to, I suppose, experience something of the event themselves, that was nice. That was real good. Yeah. And Gillian had like the time of her life. She was. She thinks he's the best thing ever.
I think that's the thing. Like, we wanted to do a lower key event so we could enjoy it a little bit more. Now, obviously, I ended up with a banging migraine by the end of the day, but as is fairly usual, but I did still enjoy it. We got Jason and I went around. We recorded some interviews as well, so that's something that's always been on my list of things to do at events, is to do some chatting to people about cars. So we did a couple of the award winners, got that in the bag, so that's great. I
just videoed a lot of green cars, yeah.
yeah, just loads of green cars, and then the having just been talking about sort of the track in a slightly negative way, Prescott got us a drift car up the hill at Prescott. Like, now I'm unaware if that's been done before. I don't think it has. I've never seen a photo of it happening before. And I was quite doubtful that they would be on board, but they were like, no, it's all within the rules. Like, it has to be like the proper guy doing it. Like, it can't just be some rando like giving it a go. And they're like, no, we got a proper guy. It has to be road legal. Yeah, they got that road legal. And yeah, up the hill it went, sideways all day. It was great. And there were a couple of others, certainly in the guests. And I think what's his name? Mike Ashley was had an interesting line around the hairpin, I will say, given that his Instagram is Slide Brothers. It's not surprising that he had an interesting line around the hairpin. But like, they were fine with it all. Like, the marshals were great. Everything was lovely in that regard. So we got a whole bunch of stuff we can tweak and improve and just make smoother, both from our end and like the competitors being a customer end of things. But that was, in the end, that was great. Like, I got to stand and watch the hill for a bit, and it was good. There's a reason we go to Prescott. It's really nice.
Yeah. And watching Louis go up was just like a real highlight in itself. As anyone who kind of was there and saw it, everyone stopped what they were doing and kind of watched him wherever they were. And after we, had so many kind of last minute hurdles in front of us, it was like, oh crikey, what's this hill actually going to look like when it comes to running it? To have him going up was phenomenal. Was wicked.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we that was all really nice. I got my car washed by Arthur of Norway and what's his name? Geeky Detailing, which was good. It's annoying. We kind of were filming it because we're going to do like a little bit of. Jason wants to film a sort of documentary thing. So if little Jason came and spoke to you at some point, that's what he was doing. And I think it's going to probably end up in there, but I was suffering at that point. So apologies to Geeky Detailing and Arthur. I really wanted to speak to you more, but my brain was melting. The heat, the weather was so good. It was a hot day. Mainly the heat, not the stress. But I once again broke myself at a Retro Roads event, so that's great. Oh, I've gone blurry.
It's a sign that it's gone well, right? Because it's the norm.
yeah. Maybe that's it. So we touched a little bit on next year. As I say, we haven't debriefed with Prescott, but I think we both want to go back and do it again. And that's legit.
We do.
And I think we've got a list of improvements, some of which you'll notice, some of which you won't. There were like little mess ups, like we were collecting tickets in the wrong place on day parking, which caused a traffic jam. But that was a miscommunication. That wasn't our intention to do it like that. I've had a couple of complaints from our locals. If there's 2 white BMWs, I'm tracking you down. Because apparently you were driving
stick
like
your hands
dicks.
Up now.
So stick your hands up now. But yeah, I will. Like Liam Neeson in Taken, I will find you. Then we will. Yeah,
we should probably. I kind of feel like we should just mention, like, we don't put the signs up in the villages and all the kind of pre-event communication about driving sensibly. We don't put all that up and out kind of for fun or because the venue asks us to. It's literally we do it because we need there to be no problems. Kind of people acting like idiots in the local villages can result in complaints and other things that get back to the venue. And if the venue don't want that, and therefore if there are complaints about events, they will stop them. And
Yeah.
it does literally harm the chances of an event happening again if your spectators and public and whoever else is coming to the venue on your weekend is acting like an idiot. Um,
Yeah.
it amazes me that people can come along and then leave, and despite all the communications, think, oh yeah, I'm going to drive like a tit immediately in the local villages outside the venue. It's like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah. It
smart
is
enough,
ridiculous.
guys.
Also, no one's impressed. You look like a cock. So yeah, I think that we did all right. I would like to have done a bit better with that. Seeing as we still ended up with a couple of complaints. I would like 0 complaints. People, just behave yourself. It's easy. The camping was great. Like, obviously not everyone got that. The size was ideal, but we have a lot more space to play with. So we've been discussing about trying to keep that how it was this year, but also expand it. So that's our current plan. So for people that missed out on camping tickets, the same will be true. It will go to Club Retro Rides first. It will probably go to Club Retro Rides in tier order as well. So it will go to the insane Make More Content Dave people, love you guys, then the GTI tier, then the GL tier, and then everyone else. And we're hoping it gets to everyone else, because we didn't sell that out purposely. Like, it wasn't a thing with like, oh, it won't ever get to the public. We were like, oh, we'll sell a bunch through the club, and then we'll get some to the public, and it'll be what it will be. I mean, it sold straight to the club. And that made the campsite nice. So we're planning to have more. We just want to make sure we don't lose that atmosphere that campsite had, because it was
I guess
really nice.
to manage expectations, it's not like it's going to double.
Oh god, no, absolutely not. Like,
it might get. We're talking kind of, it might get a little bit bigger, just to really try and enable kind of more people to kind of have a bit of access to it. It can't get weekender size, put it that way.
No, that's it. It's never going to be big. Like, I think there's a world in which it gets to the size of the previous gathering campsite, but that was 600. We had 450, I guess, by the time you put like all of the trade extras, space and stuff like that in there. Like, although
it would probably been about 450.
Yeah. So, like, an extra 150 people, it's not a lot, but it should be enough to hopefully meet some of that demand. But we don't want it to be a big event. Like, the whole point is the atmosphere is great. It's not a huge event. It's nice and easy to organise. It's very friendly. It's very community focused. I had a complaint from someone that they never saw it advertised, and I was like, well, I didn't reply to them with this, but my thought was, well, it was advertised on the forum, which everybody should be using if they're a right-thinking car individual. It went to our mailing list, which is 6,000 odd people. It was on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Like, if you put the order of engagedness with the community, it goes club, forum, mailing list, Instagram, Facebook. If you didn't get one of them, then you're not in the community as such. You know what I mean? I didn't run
we
any
almost
adverts.
weren't trying to reach you.
That's the thing. You didn't see it because we weren't trying to reach you, because we didn't need to, because we sold it out. The day ticket sold out. The campsite sold out.
Exactly.
We will increase those numbers a little bit. I think what our plan was, we had an original plan for 2026 in our head before we went into the event, and we both radically altered that. I think we were like, we'll turn it into a 2-day thing, we'll expand it. And no.
Amazingly, I think we both came out on the same page as well.
That's a rarity.
Which is quite a rarity, yeah.
So we were like, like before the event, we're like, we'll turn this into a 2-dayer, and we'll do this and we'll do that, and we'll expand this, and we'll still cut the numbers, but we'll do it this way. And now we've actually completely changed our mind. We really enjoyed the event. We've taken the feedback on board, so that majority was really positive feedback, which is lovely to see. Like, that makes us feel great. There were a few bits of negative feedback in the survey, all of which I think we can deal with, and we plan to deal with. So and there's a bunch of stuff that we what's interesting is there's stuff that we had in our heads that didn't then get raised in the survey, which is always the reason to do those things, is you don't want to fix the wrong thing because you think it's wrong. But equally, there's some other stuff around the event that will make it better overall, I think. So yeah, we're kind
I don't
of,
think we got any surprises though, which was nice.
No, that was good. Well, other than the track stuff. Oh, I see. Like from
No,
the
I'm
surveys.
meaning the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing came back on the feedback survey that kind of was new to us, which
Yeah,
you always
I think
had
that was
bit worried
that
about.
kind of that's also quite a good thing. It's like if people remember back to the weekender, there was toilet problems, which was a surprise to us, but to a certain degree, a surprise to us on the weekend. And then we post show we debriefed and we spoke to toilet and we solved all that. But like we didn't have any of that with weekender. There was nothing that came negative out of that event, and we were like, oh, okay, we didn't know about that. Like everything was part of the course, and as I say, the majority of it, like 95% of the responses were more than glowing. There's like 5 stars all round, and even the people that had complaints, no one got down to a 1 star for the event. So yeah, we hope to tackle everybody's thing, and for gathering, I guess we launched gathering in February. So you'll hear some more about gathering over the winter, but now it's full steam ahead with Weekender, isn't it, Keith?
Yep. Straight into it.
Yeah.
It's funny how quickly it comes around, eh?
Yeah, I always think I have
There
time
was a
off,
time.
but
I was going to say, I swear there was a time when you'd get like a month or two off at least, maybe until kind of like Christmas, like 12 years ago. Whereas now it's like, oh, right, okay, we need tickets on sale again in another month or two's time. Like, how's that going to look? What's the artwork going to look like for that? What needs to be done before then, And we already have people kind of contacting us because they want to be involved with the events. So there's that as well. It kind of forces our hand to a degree.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been working on display stuff since before this year's Weekender. So I mean, I'm actually in quite a nice place with that. Actually, on the dates. So I'm looking up at my board.
Oh yeah, we know our dates.
We know our dates. So Club Retro Rides tickets will be available on the 28th of October. Then it will go to the mailing list on the 31st of October, and then they'll go on general sale on the 3rd of November. So if you want to join the mailing list, if you go to retroridesevents.com, the mailing list link is at the bottom. I've got to update all of that site. It's still got all of this year's information on it. Nothing's been changed. But yeah, if you go to the bottom, the mailing list is there. Or even better, go to club.retro-rides.org and become a Club Retro Rides member with all of the capybara nonsense and all of that stuff. We are working on local meets and other things as well, so it will become better over time.
You forgot the important dates.
Oh, what, when the event's happening? Oh yeah, no one thinks about that. So the date for the weekender is the 9th and 10th of May. That's the important date. That's a good point. So yeah, you can get your tickets on the dates I just said. I hope you still remember. And then 9th and 10th May, you can actually come to a car show, and it will be the best in the world. Not overselling it.
It's great. I'm already looking forward to being back there and doing it again. The next year's going to be awesome.
I'm already looking forward to the Tuesday after the event, so I can sleep. It's good. But yeah, that's kind of the current plan. So yeah, 9th, 10th May, Goodwood Motor Circuit, Retro Rides Weekender is back. Tickets, Club 28th, mailing list 31st of October, and then 3rd November, general sale. They are going to be tiered in the way that we did last year. There's probably going to be a bun fight for the tickets. Just to forewarn you, that's kind of become a thing. I'm sorry.
Get on the mailing list. In short, you need to be on the mailing list at least.
Mailing list, club, anything. We are likely to increase the size of the campsite a bit, but we don't want to go too mad with that. Again, the weekender campsite has a reasonable atmosphere nowadays, but we have a bit more space because we moved over a field and we think it's manageable. So that will increase a bit. But again, demand always goes up as well, and we sold out last year. So let's see how that goes. Day tickets will be on sale at the same time. And we will, be working through those and seeing how that goes. That tends to heat up in the new year when people start to make actual plans. But yeah, camping end of this year, it's going to be great. And then we'll tell you gathering stuff as and when we know. That will be. Assuming Prescott lets come back, we haven't had the debrief yet. Although they are willing to have a debrief, so that's a good sign, right?
Yeah. I think we'll get a date for next year.
Hope so.
Hopefully, it'd be interesting, kind of having the conversation this time around, almost like as a repeat customer, as it were, and like how quickly do they move on their dates? Like how quickly can we actually get that same date, or can we get booked in? Is it something we can actually do immediately, or does it have to wait until other things to fall into place first that pushes that back? Certainly noticed that with Goodwood, like over the years it's got earlier and earlier and earlier that we can actually get a date from them.
I mean we had a vague date for next year in pencil sort of like the first meeting after weekender this year. I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where we can put tickets on sale for the following year like immediately. Not that we ever really want to, but they are. We're getting slightly earlier with that. The complication, obviously, for gathering is both Arctangent and Green Man Festival on the weekend of this year. So I kind of want it moved so I can do both.
You can ask them to move.
What, the festivals?
Just say, can you just make it a week earlier?
Yeah.
The weather's better then or something,
Yeah. Well, I still went to Arctangent this year, so that was fine. Let's see what weekend we get next year. We'll see what they offer us, and we'll see what works for us. But yeah, cool. Thank you very much for this. Thank you very much for joining me, Keith.
It's good to chat.
It's good to chat. And thank you everybody for watching. If you've made it this far, you are a lunatic, and in the best way. So we love you all.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.